So if you're visiting Key West or possibly thinking about moving here, at some point you're probably going to want to go to the beach. And in this video, we're going to go to each beach. I'm going to show you sort of an aerial view of each beach, and then we're also going to get in the water and we're going to talk about the rentals that are there, the nearby neighborhoods, and the cafes, bars, and restaurants nearby. In case we've never met before, my name's Solaris Gregory. I'm also a licensed realtor here in Key West. I help people buy, sell, invest, and relocate to these wonderful islands. And please like and subscribe because this is a good way to educate yourself about Key West and the Florida Keys. Also, I make videos every week of what it's like to live, work, and play here. And my wife Marcella, my daughter Venice, and my puppy Honey, we were all born and raised here. We just absolutely love this island lifestyle. Now, if you're living or visiting Key West, you probably want to stop by the beach from time to time. And the first beach that we're going to be discussing is Smathers Beach. Now, Smathers Beach is my least favorite for the swimming. However, it has the nicest sand because they import the sand from the Bahamas. Now, the neighborhoods that are closest to that beach would be Newtown, Midtown East, and Midtown West. However, Key West is a 2-mile by 4-mile island. No matter where you are, it's not very far. So Smathers Beach is located on the south side of Key West, sort of close to the airport. So it would be the southeast side of Key West. So Smathers Beach is free to go there, but there are rentals such as chairs, little sailboats, kayaks, and paddleboards. So when I went out there today, and it's always been like this even since I was a kid, it's a little sludgy between your toes until you get out to the nice sand where the swimming is a little bit nicer. So the walk out from when you walk into the beach, it's a little bit nasty, but then once you pass that nastiness, it's beautiful sand. So it is nice swimming out there, nice snorkeling. You're not going to see a lot of fish, but it is beautiful. And what you have to understand is in Key West, different times of the year and on different days, depending on which direction the wind is blowing and how hard the wind is blowing, is going to be the visibility of the water. So in the summertime, you do tend to get a lot of seaweed at all the beaches on the south side. And those beaches would include Smathers Beach, Higgs Beach, Dog Beach, and then also South Beach. Sometimes Port Zachary Taylor. It's a little bit on the west side, so a lot of the seaweed kind of skims by it. And there's also a nice current at Port Zachary Taylor. So the water kind of washes the seaweed out, and it is a little bit of a cleaner swimming area. Also, at the end of Simonton St Pier, the water is almost always very beautiful there because it's on the north side. Smathers Beach, along with the other beaches, they're all very family friendly. Now, if you want to see the sunset, it's mostly going to be towards the winter time are you going to be able to see the sunset over the water at Smathers Beach. During the summertime, you're not going to be able to see the sunset at Smathers Beach. Smathers Beach doesn't get really crowded because it's Key West's longest beach. You might get a little bit crowds during special holidays and spring break. They just redid the streets in front of Smathers Beach, and there is plenty of parking. However, you do have to pay for it. So there are plenty of hotels at Smathers Beach, and so you can walk across the street and have lunch at them anytime. So the next beach that we're going to be discussing is Higgs Beach. And I've discussed in my previous videos that it's probably my favorite beach. However, it is a tie between Higgs Beach and Fort Zachary Taylor. And at Higgs Beach, they have a great cafe there called Salute, and I eat there all the time. I do love the swimming there. It's very kid-friendly because there's not a lot of waves that crash, and they have sort of a pier, but it does help with any kind of waves, and also does protect from seaweed. The other thing that I love about Higgs Beach is the pier there. You can jump off of it, and my daughter loves to jump off of it, and we do a little snorkeling around there. It is close to my house in Midtown, so the neighborhoods that are closest to Higgs Beach is going to be the Casa Marina neighborhood. You also have Old Town that's pretty close to it, and then Midtown West is right there, and then Midtown East, which is where I live. And my daughter and I, we take our bikes over there, and we go swimming there a few times a week. So you can rent chairs and also paddleboards, kayaks at Higgs Beach. I love the beach because you also have right there, there's a workout park. You also have tennis and pickleball courts there, and there's also volleyball courts there as well. So as far as the sunset goes at Higgs Beach, you're pretty much only going to be able to see the sunset there during the winter time. There's also a nearby restaurant. You can also eat at the Casa Marina, the Reach, but my favorite in that area is Louie's Backyard. So there is free parking at Higgs Beach, and there usually is space available. The Dog Beach is in that Casa Marina neighborhood. It's a very small beach. It is dog friendly. It's right next to Louie's Backyard, and that's a great place to eat. They have tapas there and fish tacos, and they have a beautiful deck bar. So I think Dog Beach is convenient for if you live in that Casa Marina neighborhood or the south side of Old Town or Bahama Village. It is a nice beach, especially if you have a dog that you want to take there. So the next beach that we're going to be discussing is Fort Zachary Taylor. Fort Zachary Taylor is by far the best for swimming and snorkeling and seeing fish. However, when you take those first 15 steps into the water, it is usually a little bit rocky, so having water shoes or even fins at this beach would be very convenient. So what I love about Fort Zachary Taylor is there is a historic fort there, which is really cool. But as far as the beach goes, the water there is usually very clean and clear because the water, it has like a little bit of a current and the water flows through there very nicely, so you don't get a lot of stagnant water. I just love the snorkeling over there. I got some good footage of some beautiful fish. It is definitely my favorite place to go snorkeling. So if you want to watch the sunset throughout the year, Fort Zachary Taylor is definitely the best place because you can watch the sunset throughout the entire year. If you ride your bike in there, it's $2.50. At Fort Zach, they have a cafe where they have wraps, ice cream, different sandwiches, and burgers and hot dogs. So Fort Zachary Taylor is on the west side of Key West. You can rent chairs from there, and then there's also another area where there's rocks on the other side where people don't swim. You can do some fishing over there if you like, and I've seen people catch some nice fish over there, so it's a lot of fun. Also, if you want to grill there, they have grills set up so you can bring your charcoal. Fort Zachary Taylor is a very large beach for Key West, however, so it doesn't get too crowded, but sometimes if you're in a car getting through the gate, sometimes there is a line. It can take 15 to 20 minutes. So definitely for swimming, I think Fort Zachary Taylor is the best beach, but the sand is probably my least favorite because it can sometimes be a little bit rocky. And if you do find spots that are just sand, the sand is pretty hard. So the next beach we're going to be discussing is Simonton St Pier. I have always loved swimming there. The water there is some of the best throughout the entire year because there is a little bit of a current and kind of washes everything through. There is a bar there called Loggerheads, my friends own. So there's an area where you can rent chairs from them, and then there's a pier that my daughter loves to jump off of. But the water there, even usually on a rough day, is very beautiful for swimming. And then there's some rocks there where you will see some beautiful little sea life and fish. Also, if you like to swim for exercise, I used to always go over there and swim for exercise because if you go about 40 feet out, there is a little current running through there, and then you can just sort of swim against the current. Now, there is some parking there, but the parking lot is kind of small, so if you can't find a parking spot there, I think if you go into Green Street, sometimes there's parking there as well. All this would be public parking, so you do have to pay to park there. But the beach itself is free. So at Simonton St Pier, beach there is very beautiful, and the sand is very nice as well.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Please, if you get a chance, make a comment below. Whether you like the video, didn't like the video, have anything to add. I answer all the comments personally. And if you're thinking about making a move to Key West or the Florida Keys, please, my contact information is below, along with my calendar. Reach out day or night, and just keep living that island lifestyle.